Hi guys, welcome back. Okay, today I'm going to do something a little bit different and I'm going to talk about a subject that isn't really talked about all that much, and if it is, it's not completely addressed. I want to talk to you about coloring book burnout and some of the things that I've been seeing with my students that I'm really happy about. Just over the last couple of weeks, I've been hearing a lot from my older subscribers, and I don't mean age subscribers. I'm talking about older as in they've been with me for since the beginning. My channel has been here for 2 years, and I heard from somebody I used to communicate with back then. So, I mean, subscribers come and go. I don't give it much of a thought, but they told me in their correspondence with me that they've experienced a little burnout. Now, there were a couple of them, so I may not be talking specifically about one in general, but basically, the overall view is some of you have been experiencing a little bit of burnout. And this is really not a problem. This is a good thing, not a bad thing. You're ready to move on to the next level. Now, I did this picture, and a lot of people, I didn't finish the shoes. And a lot of people are going to look at this picture, and I want you to specifically look close and say to yourself, oh, wow, how did she do it? Or, oh, that's good, I give you a gold star. Those who would give me a gold star for this picture are ready to move on to the next level. Those who are saying on this picture, oh my God, how did she do it? That picture is great, are still sort of trying to figure out the beginning levels. And while it's a nice picture and it's one that I would give to my father, like people ask me, what do I do with my pictures? And I say, oh, my dad hangs it up in his room. That's like when you bring home a picture and your mother puts it on the refrigerator. It's not art worthy. It is to some people, but really, if I'm going to pay for art, I wouldn't pay for this. I'm going to start a couple of videos, and I'm going to start at least once a month doing on the intermediate level. Now, not everybody is going to grasp or be at that level, and that's okay because my channel will be still focused on the newbies and the beginners who are just getting their first sets of pencils, and this is where you're going to grow. But I don't want my subscribers who are really ready for that intermediate level to move it past just what I've been doing and slopping wax down on a paper with no rhyme or reason, or I want those people to also grow as artists. So I have a little bit of a checkoff list. This is something different, and it's sort of like my ideas of how and why a person would get burnout. And I want to go through all of these things, okay? And you yourself can describe in your own mind where you fit in. And if you fit into the intermediate level and you're saying yes to most of these questions that are on the intermediate level, you probably are ready to move on to something bigger. The first question in this test is, are some of the colorists you watch on YouTube not as good as they used to be? The pictures are becoming mundane. Okay, they probably aren't, to be honest. It's you. You figured it out. You know how to do a blend. So looking at the mysterious, simple blend is, wow, how did you do it? Because months ago you couldn't do one. So that was mysterious to you. So that is an indication you are ready to move up. It's how you see the world. Now, a lot of people that have been with me for a while, and I remember, believe it or not, I remember a lot about people. And the questions that they used to ask me at the beginning are not the same as the way they ask me now. They're asking me more detailed questions. And one sign that you are ready to move on is you can ask questions. People who are sitting in the front of a classroom with their hands up constantly are asking to be stimulated. Those who kind of shrink down and they're watching, they're still mastering what you're speaking about. So you could just tell two different levels, per se, of where a person is at. So if suddenly things aren't so mysterious or they don't look as challenging as they did before, you're probably ready to move on. You're starting to search different artists, and the artists that are inspiring you are better than you. Where the artists that used to inspire you are doing it just like you. So that is definitely a way to tell that you are ready to move on. The next thing that tells me you're ready to move on is that when you're looking at a picture in a book, or even at, say, a new book completely, you're not intimidated by any page in it. Now, when you were first starting out, you'd look at the book and you might be picking out the simplest pictures. Or you might say, oh, this has a sunset. I don't know how to do a sunset, so I'm not going to do it. So now you're looking through your books, and all of a sudden, more and more pages are becoming pretty easy to you. Oh, I could do this landscape. Oh, I could do this, just about anything, this portrait. Oh, I could see it finished. And it's more of them in the book. So the books don't look as challenging as they used to look. That is a sign you've moved on. The next, you choose your lighting first. Before you even touch the page with a pencil, you're looking at the page going, well, I could do it this way. Oh, but I can really do it this way. And in your mind, you can see this picture finished both ways. You're ready to move on. Next thing, you no longer have anxiety putting the pencil to the paper when you first start coloring. And that's a big thing, because a lot of newbie people that are just starting out, they don't know where they're going to go. They don't know which pencil they should use first. When you're hitting the intermediate level, and even way before then, putting that pencil to the paper, you have a little bit more confidence. You know, if you start out with a lighter color, you can change it to a darker color later. You can actually see what layers and what colors you can blend together to create that layered look. You're ready to move on. And while we're talking about layers, you no longer count your layers. A lot of new people go, well, I have to put on 3 layers. I have to do 4, and they count 1 layer, 2 layers, 3, and oh, I hit 4, I'm done. You're no longer doing that, because some areas of the paper will take 3 or 4 layers, some 8 or 9 layers. You no longer are thinking about it. It's becoming very natural in your hands. When you're coloring, you're able to block in at the beginning. You can see where your highlights and your shading are going to go, and it's the first thing you think about. So you're adding white at the beginning. You're adding the darker colors in a light fashion at the beginning, just because you need to figure those things out, and you have been figuring those out. So if you started doing that, you're ready to move on. You're starting to notice other people's mistakes. That's a sure way of knowing you have advanced. You notice that when a light is coming from 2 different directions and the artist really hasn't focused their attention into the way they want the picture to look at the end. So their light might be in different ways. Lighting is wrong. Their ups, their downs, their ins and outs are backwards. And you've noticed it. So if you're noticing it and automatically critiquing it, and looking at your friend's picture going, oh, that's a good thing. You're doing good. You need a gold star on your paper. You're ready to move on. Not from your friend. Just you're ready to advance your art. A page is not done unless there's texture. And that's very important. Everything in life has texture in it. You want to see it. All of a sudden, shadowing makes a difference. You want shadows on your paper, and you're not afraid to use them. And if you're at that level, you're ready to move on. And lastly, you're looking at my picture, and some of you were thinking, oh my God, that is so good. You're done. You would guess, oh, you're finished. And those who are ready to move on are looking at my page and going, you're not done. And no, I'm not. This page is far from done, even though I have pencil all over it. And I kind of did this one on purpose. And this picture does not have the upper layers done. Well, you could tell by the shoes. I did not finish it. And there's going to be a reason why, because I'm going to take this picture and I'm going to redo it for you guys. And when I redo it, we're going to redo it at an intermediate level. Okay. We're not specifically going to do this picture in this video. It's going to come over the next week. And this picture, we're going to concentrate on the upper levels and some of the details, specifically on this page. But I'm going to also redo this page again and do it as an intermediate. And that's what you have to look forward to over the next coming videos. I'm going to be finishing up my hour-long video on real time and my process, and you're going to see how all of this is going to start to come together for you. My beginners are going to look forward to what will come of their skills, and my intermediates are not going to feel burnt out. I'm going to give you a challenge. Now, it was really sad. I had one person I know that has been coloring for a long time, and I'm not going to mention the name, of course, but I'm going to call them out in a good way. They wrote to me quite recently, and they talked to me about them feeling burnt. And they started describing to me, well, I've gotten into markers, I've gotten into gel pens, but my love is with colored pencils. I want to pick up the colored pencils again. You know what? You just burnt out. There is so much further you can go with colored pencils than what I have been teaching on the beginner level, that you per se may not feel that burnout. You don't have to turn to other mediums of art. There's always an improvement that you can make. Coloring books are basic. It's the beginning level. Are you artists? Most certainly are, but you're not original artists. Original artists will look at this page and go, oh, cute, and pick up a blank paper and draw their own. But a lot of you don't draw, and you just like the coloring, so we're going to get around that too, I promise. So what is my goal here? My goal is to take those who are looking at this page and saying, you're not done yet, and take them to the end processing of a picture. It's going to show my new people. Remember how I used to say, it's a picture that's underdone. All newbie people, all beginners, stop too soon. I remember it was my third year instructor in art school. And he used to, by the time you're in third year, there is a naked model standing at the front of the class, and the teacher is reading a newspaper in the back of the class. That's art school. He didn't even look up. And he would say, not done. He didn't even give you the opportunity to say, really, where? He would just say, not finished. And looking back, none of my pictures were finished, or anybody else's pictures were finished. You're not done until the burnishing level, and that is your upper last level, where you take your pencil, you go hard on it, you flatten down all your layers, and you bring about a slight shine on your papers. Now, some artists like a high shine, some of them don't. I was just, in fact, watching a YouTuber that I think is fantastic, and she talked about burnishing level, and that she doesn't like pencils that shine. And I could see that she actually applies a chemical on her page that prevents that, which I thought was really interesting. So there's always somewhere that you can go to learn more. So a lot of the things that I've told you on the beginner level are going to change now. And it's not going to change for the beginners. I'm going to say, and always say to you, intermediate. But where I talk to my beginning students very softly, yes, I don't put a lot of pressure on them. I don't say, you have to do it this way. Right now on the beginning level, I want people to be exploring what they can and can't do. You can't move on to more advanced art unless you've made your mistakes and tried things out. You have to test the waters. You need to test the colors. You need to blend every color. And that is why the CMW worksheets are a must. You have to be able to know what colors create mud. And with that statement, I'm going to respond to somebody who made a comment yesterday that was thought provoking. I made a comment yesterday, and I'm not picking on anybody for making a comment that I disagree on. It was thought provoking. It makes you want to think and ask more questions. So I applaud the question. Marquis Bacchines commented, "What you think is mud might look good to someone else. Coloring is not a life science. It is loving to relax, being in your own world, and creating something you love." Very interesting. And I will say yes and no to this. Everybody can create art, but art is definitely a science. It is a life science, and I'm going to tell you why. Your brain picks up certain cues that it's used to and what it considers normal, natural, and healthy. If suddenly the sky turned red, that would trigger your brain to say something is wrong. If somebody's pupils in their eyes are wonky, they're not the same size. Your eyes may not pick up on the fact, but your brain is going to give you that tingly feeling that something is not right, and it's usually a head injury. Different colors react differently with each other. Colors are within the light spectrum. If you use too many colors, it will turn black. You might not want black on your page or dark gray. That's what happens when you mix colors. Every color is created by the way it reacts to light, the way the light bends. So yes, it is a science. On a simple level, that you just pick up a pencil and you're sketching and you're relaxing, yes, art is exactly what you say. It's meant to be relaxed. It puts you in your own world. It's creating something you love, and this is true. But there takes skill. As you progress through the levels, you need to know certain things, or you may not automatically understand them. You might not automatically do them. How I can think of this, if perspective is off and you put a tree that is too large next to a mountain, your eye is going to say, what is wrong with this picture? And you're going to get a visceral reaction that the picture is not pleasing, because your eyes are not comprehending that this tree could be this big if it's sitting next to the mountain. Now, if you take that same tree and you put it very large on the page and the mountain behind it, it's going to make it appear that you are close up to the tree and far away from the mountain. Your eye is going to perceive that as normal. There will be a liking to the picture and a positive reaction. So there are skills and a science to not just coloring, but any art. Okay, the last part of this video, I'm going to talk to you about what is expected as an upper level art student. Well, or a middle level art student. And there's a couple of things that are going to be a must that you're going to go, well, I didn't have to do that before. Well, you have to do it now to progress. A photo reference is a must. There's no getting around it. To get the right look on an intermediate level, you have to actually have a reference photo. Now, can I have a reference photo to this picture? But this isn't a life picture. But I can get a photo reference for the roses. I can get a photo reference for the side ponytail. I can look on the internet for the photo reference of a top hat. So you see what I'm talking about? There has to be some picture in front of you. It's a must. And That's that. You must use hand pressure as a tool. And I know I let a lot of people get away with the way they hold their pencil. On the intermediate level, you're going to be held to the standards of an intermediate student, and holding the pencil correctly is important. On the intermediate level, you're going to strive for texture. Life is not smooth. Everything on this page is smooth. There's no texture within this. And that is one of the reasons a lot of people burn out, because on the beginning level, you're really looking for that smooth gradient, the degree of color melding together. That's what you're looking for. But you're not paying attention to the details that make the upper level of this gown satin and the undercoat Chanel. Truly achieve that with texture. Bark on a tree is always texturized. You can't get around it. Even though you love landscape pictures, you've got to create the illusion, at least, of bark on the tree. If you don't, and you're still painting your pictures going straight down and smooth, not so much. That's kind of beginner. On the intermediary level, you are going to be held responsible for coloring what you see, not what you think you see. And that's why you need the reference picture. On the intermediate level, edges. Edges are going to count, and they're very important. You're going to be creating either a hard edge or a soft edge. Now, this is already an impossible thing because the line on the dress, and this is a coloring book, the coloring artist has already created a hard edge. You don't have that choice, but we're going to work on that, on how to change that. That's coming up. So this was my beginning speech for bringing you guys to the next level. If you have any questions or fears or anything you want to talk to me about, you know my email is always open to you, and you can always make a comment on the video. I will get back to you. So take care, guys. I will see you in the next video.